Bitterness criticism. Here we criticize all, like everyone. Everyone is always criticizing. I'll criticize the sun in a couple of minutes, because look, the sun's reaching me. It's reaching me. This is a Madureira jersey from the goalkeeper from the year, I guess from the 2013, I guess. Can you believe this? They put the Che Guevara on the jersey, the goalkeeper jersey. And in the back we have 50 years. Look. Can you see? 50 years from the Cuban Revolution. So yeah, this is a critic journalism. We just don't care about social media or about mainstream media. Oh, today I'm gonna know, because this stuff about reading is kind of new for me, because I always only watch movies and movies and YouTube. But to read this is kind of all new thing for me, isn't it, babe? Isn't it? So look, here we have Mursi. Did you saw his tongue? His tongue is a Dalmatian tongue. I would say she's a Dalmatian dog. She's kind of crazy. We were fighting, and she loves to fight, and that's why she's happy now, because we fought. Yeah, dogs are kind of savage animals, and they like to fight. It's funny, isn't it? Because humans think fighting is I don't know, well, fighting is all about adrenaline stuff. So adrenaline is nice. So today we're gonna meet Politico. What I think is deep web propaganda. For me, all is deep web propaganda. Even people who believe they are free, they are not free. They are controlled by, when Instagram or Facebook says, be careful with Russia Today. He's totally or partially controlled by Russia, by Russian government. Well, all that people over there in Chile, they are controlled by misery, I guess, by I don't know, controlled by depression. Anyway, so Politico. China talks peace, woos European and trashes Biden in Munich. Beijing will pitch its own peace plan. I don't know what it was pitch, but let's think about it. Europeans are predictably skeptical. Here we have Chinese Foreign Affairs Minister Wang Yi speaking at the Munich Security Conference. I just read something about this, isn't it? But this is from Politico. It's not from this is from a red. I'm not talking about ideology. I'm talking about colors, just colors, Pantone colors. This is a red deep state journal by Stuart Law, Hans von der Burschen and Lily Bayer, February 18, 2023. 6 minutes to read. Look, this side have this this feature to read.
China talks peace, woos Europe and trashes Biden in Munich. Beijing will pitch its own peace plan. Europeans are predictably skeptical.
It's nice, isn't it? The voice is nice, the tone voice. It's like a relaxing middle-aged woman will talking to you very smoothly. But I will read this. Voiced by artificial intelligence. Munich. China is trying to drive a fresh wedge between Europe and the United States as Russia's invasion of Ukraine trudges past its one-year mark. Such was the motive of China's newly promoted foreign policy chief Wang Yi when he broke the news at the Munich Security Conference on Saturday that President Xi Jinping will soon present a peace proposal to resolve that Beijing calls a conflict, not a war. So, because of this comment, not a war, this criticism from them, from this, I don't know, Western criticism. Yeah, we can understand that they are from the Western media, from the Western, the deep state. Not so deep, isn't it? Between Moscow and Kiev, and he pointedly urged his European audience to get on board and shun the Americans. In a major speech, one appealed specifically to the European leaders gathered in the room. We need to think calmly, especially our friends in Europe, about that what efforts should be made to stop the warfare. What framework should there be bring lasting peace to Europe? What role should Europe play to manifest its strategic autonomy? Said Wang, who will continue his Europe tour with a stop in Moscow. In contrast, Wang launched a vociferous attack on weak Washington's new hysterical reaction to Chinese balloons over US airspace, portraying the country as warmongering. So this is very sophisticated. It's kind of sophisticated, but they are saying that the reaction from the balloon was hysterical. So they are diminishing what I call a provocation from China. This was in fact a provocation, and they are saying this is nothing. They don't even say anything about what is this provocation from China. They don't say that. They don't say nothing. You know, in very short space of text, they say this is nothing, but they don't want to say that. But can you see, this is a Western media. I will say in the video, Politico from deep state. Yeah, that will be, because like all the other newspapers, this is hard to find where this come from. Look, we have the first page, and we don't have anything. More information. Press, content studio. No, we don't have anything. Can you see? So this probably is from the United States. Who knows? Some forces might not want to see peace talks. Some forces might not want to see peace talks to materialize, he said, widely interpreted as a preference to the US. They don't care about the life and death of Ukrainians, nor the harms of Europe. They might have strategic goals larger than Ukraine itself. This warfare must not continue. Yet at the conference, Europe showed no signs of distancing itself from the US nor pulling back on military support for Ukraine. The once hesitant German Chancellor Olaf Scholz urged Europe to give Ukraine even more modern tanks, and French President Emmanuel Macron shut down the idea of immediate peace talks with the Kremlin. Yeah, so Europe is enjoying this war, and the Ukrainians are dying. And predictably, there was widespread skepticism that China's idea of peace will match that of Europe. China has not been able to condemn the invasion. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told a group of reporters. Beijing's peace plan, he added, is quite vague. Peace, the NATO chief emphasizes is only possible if Russia respects Ukraine's sovereignty. Who said that? Stoltenberg. Well, it's been a year of invasion, isn't it? And profit from the military industrial complex, and a lot of talk, lots of performing and statements. Europe matches with caution. Once overtures illustrate the delicate dance China has been trying to pull off since the war began. Keen to ensure Russia is not weakened in the long run, Beijing has offered Vladimir Putin much needed diplomatic support while steering clear of any direct military assistance that will attract Western sanctions against its economic and trade relations with the world. Here we have Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is expected to hold a bilateral meeting with Wang while in Munich. We will put forward China's position on the political settlement on the Ukraine crisis and stay firm on the side of peace and dialogue, Wang said. We do not add fuel to the fire, and we are against reaping benefits from this crisis. According to Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani, who met Wang earlier this week, she will make this peace proposal on the first anniversary of the war, which is Friday, which was 3 days ago, or 4 days ago. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is expected to hold a bilateral meeting with Wang while in Munich. He said he hopes to have a frank conversation with the Beijing envoy. We believe that compliance with the principle of territorial integrity is China's fundamental interest in the international arena, Kuleba told journalists in Munich, and that commitment to the observance and protection of the principle of a driving force for China, greater than other argument offered by Ukraine, the United States, or any other country. Well, I will jump to the bottom. Taiwan issue stokes up U.S.-China tension. Oh, I'm burning myself here. Taiwan issue stokes up U.S.-China tension. If China was keen to talk about peace in Ukraine, it's more reluctant to do so in a case closer to home. When Wolfgang Ischinger, the veteran German diplomat behind the conference, asked Wang if he could reassure the audience Beijing was not planning an imminent military escalation against Taiwan, the Chinese envoy was non-committal. Look, this is a photo of Stoltenberg, and he is kind of sad right now. In the first 1 year, 1 year from now, he was angry, like he was, he was, I don't remember. He was strong, isn't it? But now he's sad because of inflation. Europe is under inflation. Let me assure the audience that Taiwan is a part of Chinese territory and has never been a country, that it will never be a country in the future. One said, look, but can you see China is playing hard? It's not like they say with the balloon stuff. The balloon is a demonstration. It's not anything, you know. The balloon is hard stuff. The worry over Taiwan resonated in a speech from NATO Secretary General Hans Stoltenberg, who said, "What is happening in Europe today could happen in Asia tomorrow," reminding the audience of the painful experience of relying on Russia's energy supply. He said, "We should not make the same mistake with China and another authoritarian regimes." I didn't understand, because Stoltenberg is talking about economy. Is that? Well, they already done the business with China from, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's not. This is done. But China's most forceful attack was reserved from the U.S., calling its decision to shoot down Chinese and other balloons absurd and near hysterical. One said, "It does not show the U.S. is strong. On the contrary, it shows it's weak." Yeah, that's what I was saying. It shows it is weak, because who knows? You know, if any other country in the world, like, I don't know, Iraq, imagine Iraq put some balloons over the States. Iraq will be destroyed 2 times now. I'm sorry, but US destroyed Iraq. One also, or Libya too. Imagine Gaddafi putting some balloon on the United States. Why the United States don't go and destroy China? One also amplified the message in other bilateral meeting, including one with Pakistani Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Sardari. US bias and ignorance against China has reached a ridiculous level, he said. The US has to stop this kind of absurd nonsense out of domestic political needs. It remains unclear if one will hold a meeting with the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken while in Germany, as was being discussed. Anyway, this is over, but I will read only Politico now. I guess that Politico is like, it's not like NL. Oh, just a minute. So far, the NL Times from the Netherlands is the worst journal I've read now. They are completely. Venga, Milu. This dog is kind of. This dog is kind of. They like to call the attention. Look, it's like a, I don't know. It's like a cat. Well, this Politico site is all about politics, but there's no topics, you know. there's a topics here. Hot topics. Qatar Gate. I don't know what it is. Qatar Gate. War in Ukraine. Brexit. Let's investigate what is Qatar Gate. European Parliament corruption scandal. Qatar Gate. I don't care. I don't care about Qatar Gate. It's not the news that the corruption is everywhere. Human beings are corrupt. You cannot eliminate corruption. Look, there's Moldova kicks out two foreigners over plan for violent uprisings, spy agency said. This is interesting, I guess. Yeah, because Moldova is facing a kind of breakout from some, I don't remember right now. This we will see now. Moldova kicks out two foreigners over plan for violent uprising, spy agency says. Chisinau faces rising pressure from Moscow as it bids to join the EU. Yeah, Moldova wants to join the EU. By Nicolas Camut, February 28, from today. Moldova has expelled two foreigners suspected of taking part in subversive activities, the Moldovan intelligence services said Monday amid rising fears that Russia could be plotting a coup. The two individuals were trained in data and information gathering activities for the implementation of a plan to destabilize the internal situation in the country and cause a violent change to the constitutional order, Moldova's Security and Intelligence Service said in a statement. The two people whose countries of origin was not disclosed poses as tourists should they enter the country. They have both been expelled and are banned from entering Moldova for 10 years. This is interesting because if it's true, it's interesting because it's the right thing to do. You know, destabilize. Well, I don't know if this is true. Moldova, which borders Ukraine, has been under rising pressure from Moscow since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion last February. Earlier this month, Moldova's pro-EU President Maya Sandu accused Russia to plotting to overthrow the government. Russian authorities denied the allegation. It's probably who knows the truth, isn't it? Do you think Russia is have a destabilizing external destabilizing how to say external policy from destabilize Moldova and all Europe? Look, I never speak with any Russian, but I support them. I support everything about Russian Revolution and so on. Look, they never talk to me, but I write things about Trotsky on the street. I want to know what Russia today thinks about Trotsky. The Moldovan government has long accused Russia with bases soldiers in the breakaway region of Transnistria. Transnistria is like a new country. They want to be part of Russia, I guess. That would be nice because it's close to Donbass. What they can do is extend the domination from Donbass to Transnistria, and that would be nice for Russia in the east. Yeah, if you are listening me, Putin, go do that and just take Transnistria. join Transnistria with Donbass in the east, of starting unrest in the country, including protests in the capital Chisinau. As punishment for its pro-European path, Moldova was granted candidate status to the European Union last June, together with Ukraine. EU is nice, but NATO is not nice. Look, we have here a Russian article. This is too much for me. Russia Cyrillic alphabet for me is like virus, like Chinese. When I see some Chinese alphabet, I think is, I don't know what you think is, some industrial object, it's like a technical text from fabrication, from, I don't know, anything. And this side needs some topics. Look, we have explore, and here we have Brussels, Germany, coronavirus in Europe, but this is all a mess. They should said, I don't know, economy, business, but as it is political, I guess all is about politics, and this is country politics. EU, China. There it is, EU, China, and I don't know, migration. Well, it could be a little well organized. War in Ukraine, Brexit, but it's nice. And the news are. Can you hear? This is reggaeton. It's terrible. EU, China. The latest news, data and analysis of the most consequential relationship of our time. EU, China. Yeah, there's a lot of things about China. Orban, China's Ukraine. I don't know who is Orban. I don't remember. And there is a look. This is interesting. This is a tag like tomorrow, and it says, I will read this. Look, magazine, Politico magazine. Why can't Democrats explain themselves on China? This is a column tomorrow by Alexander Burns. This is from yesterday. Alexander Burns is an associate editor for global politics at Politico. His tomorrow column explores the future of politics and policy debates that cross national lines. Biden has yet to find the rhetoric to describe his views on America's global rival, and that's a big problem. President Joe Biden likes to sum up his approach to China with the snappy mantra, competition, not conflict. This is a good mantra. Yeah, because competition is a complex concept. If you have competition, you can have solidarity, or in between competition, you can have competition itself is good. He used that construction at the G20 summit last fall in Bali, Indonesia, after meeting with Xi Jinping to revive their strained relationship. Social struggle, social class war is a kind of competition, and the proletariat should compete. The problem is proletarian class do not compete. That's the problem. Everybody should see the life like a competition. After meeting with Xi Jinping to revive their strained relationship, Biden deployed it again in his State of the Union address this month, days after sending warplanes to destroy a Chinese spy balloon off the Atlantic coast. When I asked Representative, Raja Krishnamurti, the top Democrat of the new Select Committee on U.S.-China Relations, whether he thought that formula captured the state of affairs, he paused. "I hope it does," Krishnamurti said, taking time to choose his words. Like me, I'm here always choosing words because I don't have repertoire. That's the truth. And I speak broke English, the better language. Yeah, if you want to talk to anybody in the world, you will talk broke English. That's the best language. Vigorous competition will be a healthy version of our U.S.-China relationship. Vigorous competition, yeah, it's good. But this is all crap, you know? This is a lot of crap from Biden. Biden is an assassin, is a murderer. U.S. external policy is all psycho. He said, but he did not sound convinced that Biden's catchphrase fully addressed the status quo, since a competitor like the People's Republic of China can become an adversary if they break the rules to win. Who? China. Can you see? Politico is saying that Biden says the US say that China break the rules, but I strongly recommend you to see Russia Today, because Russia Today remember you that the US is a psycho country. They always break everything. We have to protect our interests, and we have to protect our values. That is to exploit the whole world, isn't it? Krishnamurti said, even as our businesses and our supply chain are interdependent with the business and technological ecosystem, with the PRC. Krishnamurti and a small group of Democrats will bring that layered worldview to Select Committee when it holds its debut hearing on Tuesday. Convinced by the new Republican House majority and approved by a bipartisan vote as a wide-ranging investigative body, the committee is also a crucial opportunity for Democrats to explain their perspective on China for the American people. Up to this point, they have ceded too much of the political discourse on China to the right. If both parties agree that China poses a unique complex threat, only one has made it a daily obsession across the GOP's warning faction. The Chinese Communist Party is a menace that nearly all can agree to despise. Lawmakers voice that sentiment in sober floor speeches and frauding rants on Newsmax. Well, this English is kind of advanced for me, but it's nice. The challenge for level-headed Republicans on the Select Committee, led by Republican Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin, representative, will be keeping the paranoid right from overwhelming their work. An important job for Democrats will be clarifying their own policies with a message that makes sense to regular people. Krishnamurti, a 49-year-old lawyer who is also a senior member of the Intelligence Committee, is sensitive to the task. He said he consulted veterans of the January 6th committee about their methods of commanding public tension. with an eye toward using witness testimony and multimedia to engage a mass audience. In his Chicago area district, Krishnamurti said he encounters many constituents alarmed by China's human rights abuses, underhanded economic tactics, and militancy toward Taiwan. But few voters can shape that swirling fog of concern into a coherent picture. That fog emanates in part from the White House. The people following his policies closely. Biden's China strategy is clear enough. He has imposed painful restrictions on China's tech sector and pressured European allies to do the same. He has deepened military alliance with China's neighbors and promised to supply Australia with nuclear submarines to strengthen its defenses. His administration is weighing new limits on American investment in the Chinese economy. It is an approach aimed at forcefully undermining Chinese power while leaving some room for dialogue on matters of shared concern, like climate change and the war in Ukraine. This is a very few article, very large article. This is like a column, yeah. This was a column, but we'll see what more we have here in the Politico site. I guess I will do this one day of week. Orban backs China, Hungary. This Orban is the president from Hungary. And the sun is rising me. Look, I'm getting cancer here. I will go to somewhere. Well, I will stop for the night, but in 10 minutes. I don't care about Orban. These columns are so large and full of crap, isn't it? There's nothing here. Yeah, I'll read this about COVID because this Politico site is a complete propaganda. This is propaganda from the deep state. I'll show you. I don't know if you know that, but China is a country with no internet access. So Chinese people have to use only internet from China, and that's fine because there's a lot of crap on the internet about COVID origin, for example. So do you remember that they said in the media, in the Western media, that in our media, that COVID was all about bad virus? And now look, we will read this about healthcare, about still no consensus on COVID's origins, White House says. It's interesting to know what the official propaganda says. What the president wants is facts. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said, well, to make short, China said that COVID was originated in Fort Detrick in Maryland, and it is a bioweapon. So in how the COVID got to China, Iran, and Italy? How? By Marines. They were to Olympic Games, and then say the COVID was sent by ill people, by people who has the virus on them. You know, they they put the virus on the soldiers, and the soldiers go to die in Wuhan. And that's the version of China. And well, do you better search that Fort Detrick, Maryland. That's a better version. By this is from Still No Consensus on COVID's Origins. White House says, by Mia McCarthy. This from 27 February, was yesterday. The US government still has not reached a consensus on how the coronavirus pandemic started. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby told reporters Monday. Despite new reports that Energy Department has concluded the virus most likely leaked from the lab in China, the intelligence community and the rest of the government is still looking at this. Kirby said, "There's not been a definitive conclusion, so it's difficult for me to say. Or should I feel like I should have to defend press reporting about a possible preliminary indication here? What the president wants is facts." The Wall Street Journal reported Sunday that the department had reached a low confidence conclusion supporting the so-called lab leak theory in a classified finding shared with the White House and members of Congress. Kirby will not confirm or deny the report, saying he is not going to get ahead of the US government's investigation. The reported DOA finding gave new life to the argument from GOP lawmakers who have claimed without evidence that federal officials have covered up the origins of the virus that has killed more than 1 million Americans. Other agencies have said evidence points to the virus arising naturally in China. Naturally in China before being transmitted to humans. Though, remember what I told you, the Fort Detrick hypothesis. That's the truth. The Fort Detrick. There's the COVID as a bioweapon from the US. Two Republicans leading the House's COVID probes demanded Monday that the Energy Department, State Department, and FBI provide documents related to the issue. Uncovering the truth about the origins of COVID-19 is vital for the US national security, critical to the prevention of future pandemics, and will bring some semblance of closure to the families of those who lost loved ones during the pandemic, wrote House Oversight Chair James Comer, heir to KE, and Representative Brian Wenstrup, heir Ohio, Republican Ohio, who chairs panel's coronavirus subcommittee. The Energy Department declined Monday to comment on the journal article, saying through a spokesperson, the Department of Energy continues to support the thorough, carefully and objective work of our intelligence professionals in investigating the origins of COVID-19 as the President directed. You know, even this is not conclusive, I don't know, just hypotheses and stuff. This, when you show a news like that in any site like this, Politico, you are propagating propaganda. You know, this is all propaganda. This hypothesis. This is all against China. They say they not talk about Fort Detrick. During an interview Sunday with CNN, only 1 minute and a half. During an interview on Sunday with CNN, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said a variety of views. This is interesting, but there will be not Fort Detrick here. I will show you. Look, it's like that. Of course, as I am searching this on internet, I don't know, I'm getting exposed, isn't it? This is not interesting. Look, this BBC.com. Let's see BBC.com. And next I will read all about BBC News. This is what you can consider. Wuhan lab leak the theory how Fort Detrick became a center. Oh no, it's paid. I don't want to register. Yeah, it's free. Thank you, Hassan Akram. Center conspiracies. Well, this is a very strong conspiracy. World is full of conspiracies. And you have to consider that. I will read this all about BBC next time. I guess in night.